Hello YouTube, hello Albions, welcome back to the channel, and today we have another reaction. And today we're checking out Simple History's video on US Marines who protected a KFC in Fallujah. Now, this is completely new to me, as I'm pretty sure it's going to be based on the First Iraq War and the Battle of Fallujah and all that type of stuff. Listen, when it comes down to the Middle Eastern wars with Afghan and Iraq, I know nothing. Modern war is not really my interest, so I don't know too much about it. All the stories that come out of it are completely new to me. Now, with that being said, Americans defending a KFC, I get it. I once saw a documentary about like the military bases in Afghanistan, and the Brits were going mad because the Americans had airshipped in a portable Burger King for the FOB. Now, I'm not saying it makes sense, but I understand, America. I understand. Do not touch my chicken. Do not touch my burgers. So that being the case, before we hop on in, drop a like, drop a sub, hype the video, and let's get stuck on in when the US protected KFCs in Fallujah.
In one of the deadliest battlefields of the Iraq War, US Marines stumbled across something totally unexpected. A KFC restaurant. Okay. Somehow, that isolated little fried chicken franchise told them more about the state of the war than any intelligence reports ever could. This may go without saying, but when in a prolonged combat situation, there's always a risk of morale dropping.
Exactly. There's always a risk. So having home comforts at hand always do lift your spirits. It's like back in the war, back in the Great War. That's why you take a little book with letters, notes, messages, and photos of family, because it's that little bit of home comfort that can pull you through even the hardest of times. So I get it.
In order to keep spirits up, a lot of methods can be employed. One of these is good food.
Damn right.
For the most part, military rations are pretty terrible.
I've never tried an American MRE. I've tried English or British MREs. They're okay. I just don't like the chicken tikka curry. I don't listen. We had chicken curry. It wasn't good. I tell you what though, the sausage and beans in the MRE was fantastic. That treacle tart dessert one, absolutely majestic. Listen, as far as MREs go, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the MOD have done a stand-up job. British MREs are top quality.
They're designed to keep soldiers in the field in fighting condition, with long expiration dates, portability, and sufficient calories being the main priority.
Yes.
Taste is, well, let's just say it isn't Michelin quality and leave it at that. So to keep morale up, American soldiers at bases around the world have a lot of dining options. Among these are a host of fast food restaurants, serving well-deserved comfort food to those deployed. Though not the healthiest of choices, it is believed that a taste of home can make an otherwise miserable situation more bearable.
Yes.
Of course, this is not without controversy. For decades now, the United States has experienced an obesity epidemic, and the military is by...
Really? That's surprising. That's very surprising, because from what I've understood, the military fitness regulations are pretty damn hard. You know, most military regulations are pretty damn difficult, so how they would be in an obese state, I do not understand, since you have to maintain your fitness as an active fighting force. Unless you're like, I don't know what the American equivalent would be, but over here, or well, over back in England, we've got the TA, the Territorial Army, and they're basically like the Army Reserves, and they stay home. Now, they're basically part-time army, and they're like the home guard, and if there is a major issue, they're the reserves that would get immediately called up to go and assist, right? Now, I would agree that maybe the fitness standards of the TA would not match, I don't know, this is just guesswork here, but I'm guessing that they would not match the same standards of the active army. But with that being the case, I don't know if the Americans have got a similar system in role. I don't know if the National Guard play the same role as the TA. I'm not entirely sure on that one. But yeah, that's kind of surprising.
No means immune to this trend. Although the numbers are less than the general population, a distressingly large number of service personnel are fighting the battle of the bulge, so to speak. Many believe that having such unhealthy...
No, that's gross, bro. That's gross. That's so gross. Oh no, a gravy and chicken bath and sitting in it while eating at the same time. No. So No, sorry, that turned my stomach. No.
Food close at hand gives the soldiers too much access to calorie-dense meals, impacting their health as well as potentially
I don't like
their
that.
combat effectiveness.
Can we move to the next scene?
In spite of this,
Thank you.
it's generally believed that the downsides are far outweighed by the morale boost given. So
Okay.
fast food restaurants still have a home on bases around the world. And just because they happen to be in a combat zone doesn't mean this has to change. The United States military, being the logistical titan that it is, has developed a way not only to supply their soldiers with all the resources they need to fight a protracted war on the other side of the planet, but also quite literally to airdrop fast food
Airdrop
restaurants
Burger King,
into
yeah.
foreign
This is exactly the thing that I was talking about that was dropped on an FOB base in America. This is so dumb but brilliant.
territory. And no, this is not hyperbole. During the global war on terror, after a region was secured, these franchises would open up outlets on or near military bases. For example, in 2004, a C-17 Globemaster III cargo plane literally delivered a Burger King to Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan.
Yeah, this is the same one that I'm talking about. And you can pay with your currency as well. Like they had the Canadian lads paying in Canadian dollar. You had the American lads playing in the US dollar. You had the Brits using either US dollar or British pound to pay. It was brilliant.
An image that's done the rounds over the years. It's been shared on social media and is considered to be one of the most baffling yet hilarious images produced during the conflict. This is not the only example of fast food being located on or around military bases in the Middle East. Burger joints, pizza places, sandwich shops, and many others would spring up overseas to serve Americans in areas that were once hotly contested. So what does fast food have to do with the Battle of Fallujah and the effectiveness of the American campaign? After years of sporadic insurgent attacks and IEDs and extensive rebuilding efforts, the city started to return to something that resembled normal.
That's good.
It would still take a tremendous amount of effort, with coalition forces as well as the Iraqi security working hard to prevent further terrorist attacks and to protect the civilian population from regular shakedowns by the insurgent forces for support. How did they know their efforts were effective? Well, they can get their hands on fried chicken. In 2008, a Marine security
It's just like, guys, listen. Hearts and minds. Cap, we don't know if it's working. Go into town. What's that red thing you see? Is that a KFC? Damn right, that's a goddamn KFC. That's how we know Hearts and Minds is working, son. Get back to work. It's just, oh god.
platoon in the Hayal Dubat region of the city came across an open KFC. They stopped inside and talked to the employees, 3 of whom were full-time staff and a number of part-timers.
Nice.
They used this encounter as an opportunity to assess the economic stability and overall safety of the area, using the presence of the restaurant and other businesses as a gauge to determine how effective the coalition efforts were.
Brilliant.
That restaurant specifically served around 25 customers per day.
Wow.
Which may not seem like a lot, but
That's
it was much more.
that's not a lot, but for a country that's kind of recovering from a state of internal warfare, that's pretty damn decent.
More than even a short time before. And the workers were unafraid of insurgent activities, a clear indication for the conditions in the area. Also, the Marines were more than happy to order some food for dinner that night. And just in case you're curious, at the time a full meal cost around 4,000 dinars, which was about $3.50 in 2008 money. Although this was a sign of economic revival in the war-torn area, it's important to note that this was unfortunately not an actual KFC, but rather a knockoff.
It was like a spin-off, yeah. I mean, everyone's got them, right? I mean, look, I went to Greece. There was a supermarket in Greece called Morrison's. Stole the logo, stole the name, stole everything. It got my hopes up. I was excited. I went inside. I can confirm it was not a Morrison's. It was just some random old Greek bloke who was selling like goods from around the world and around Europe and was just like, welcome to Morrison's. And I was just like, oh, is this not the real Morrison's? And he was just like, no, I went to England. I like Morrison's. So now I'm Morrison's. And I was just like, oh, okay, boss. I'm not sure it works that way, but sure. Okay.
Brand called King of Kentucky Chicken Restaurant.
Hell yeah.
Colonel Sanders is on full display, but no, it wasn't the official licensed
He is
brand.
the King of Kentucky.
KFC did open up some locations in the country, mostly in Baghdad and a few other important locations, but none in Fallujah. Why is KFC, knockoff or otherwise, important? Well, let's wind back a bit for some context.
Okay.
It's 2004, and the American-led coalition to topple the regime of Saddam Hussein has occupied most of the country. Official resistance collapsed, but the nation was marred by an ever-growing insurgency. One of the focal points of this was the city of Fallujah, located in central Iraq. As a center for Saddam's Ba'ath Party, the city was a main point for resistance, and Americans and other coalition forces would have to secure the city.
Yeah, and I heard that as far as, you know, from what I've like seen from interviews and veterans who have taken a long time to open up about what happened, apparently Fallujah was the Nam of Iraq. I think that's the simplest way to describe it, right? Is that it was the most gruesome, disgusting, horrifying, both physical and mental warfare. Like it was horrid. Like I can't even put it into words. So for Fallujah to turn around and put a KFC is just mad. Full stop. But I'm stumbling on my words. All I can say is just mad respect to any of the lads who fought in general, but those who actually did time in Fallujah, more respect to you, man. More respect, because that place, from what I've heard and what's been recorded on camera, that place was hell on earth, 100%.
By street, block by block, building by building. The first Battle of Fallujah started in April of 2004. However, due to the destruction in the area, the interim Iraqi government pressured coalition forces to exit the city. Security would be taken over by the Fallujah Brigade, but they would disintegrate. The city would firmly
Yeah, they're not that great. They're not that reliable, huh?
fall into insurgent hands. Determined to take back the city, on November 7th, the Second Battle of Fallujah kicked off. Over 12,000 coalition soldiers.
Hey, look, there's the British. Look, we've got the little British model. Look, we've got the American Abrams, the American Humvee, the Iraqi Fallujah force. And then we've got the British, the SA-80, the old desert camo. Ah, we all came out in force, didn't we? It was a mission of togetherness.
Launched the operation. During the fighting, major portions of the city were leveled and the civilian population was displaced. The battle raged until December 23rd, and when it was done, the insurgents were mostly destroyed and the city secured, though there would be pockets of resistance that would endure long after the fighting stopped. The battle was one of the fiercest in the war, with 110 coalition soldiers killed and 600 wounded.
And I bet that's only confirmed numbers, right? You know, sometimes these things get skewered in the reporting. I hope it's not more, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
With 3,000 insurgents killed or captured, with very high civilian deaths and large portions of the city destroyed. Even after the end of the main fighting, insurgents would still infiltrate the city and would be a major headache for coalition forces for years to come. So, after years of consistent combat, the fact that Marines could get their hands on some fast food was a sign that the situation in the city had stabilized. In the 19th century, miners would carry canaries with them to detect buildup of dangerous gases. A healthy canary meant all was safe to work. In the same way, a KFC or other fast food joint was a sign that things were safe.
Exactly. So if there's a KFC, the city's improving. If there's no KFC, we still need to fight. Rule of thumb, if you go to war, check for KFC. If there's a KFC, you're in a safe country. I think that's the rule of thumb here.
Insurgents. This wasn't the only time KFC was used to determine the safety of Iraqi territory. During the first Gulf War, there were fears that the Iraqis would utilize chemical weapons. This wasn't without reason, since they had been used during the recent Iran-Iraq War. Unfortunately, the American military had not spent any significant resources toward detection technology. So, with their normal improvisation skills, Marines stationed in the region came up with their own way to detect chemical or biological agents. There was a distinct lack of canaries for the task, so they did the next best thing. Live chickens, called poultry chemical confirmation devices.
Chemical device. No. They've been nicknamed like a piece of equipment, but they're sending chickens in. No. Can you imagine fighting a war against the Marines? They're just like, they're not attacking us, sir. Well, what are they doing? They're throwing chickens at us, huh? Yeah, there's an army of like 1,000 chickens. Okay, what do we do with that? I don't know.
Or PCCDs, the Marines acquired a number of chickens in a project they called Kuwaiti Field Chicken, or KFC. These poultry sentinels were placed outside of their camp, where it was believed that their fast respiration would cause them physical distress, giving the Marines enough time to don their protective gear. You can imagine the panic when one morning they found all of the chickens dead.
Damn.
However, none of the Marines showed any signs of a chemical attack, and they later discovered that the birds had frozen to death overnight.
Oh yeah, because of the desert, when you're in the this is something that actually blew my mind, chat, is the fact of, like, in Afghan and Iraq, although they're like 40-50 degrees at night, in the day, when it gets to night, especially in the desert, it gets below freezing. Like, it's genuinely ice cold. It's mad how somewhere that can be desert and boiling hot, like, you can feel the wrath of the sun and cook eggs on the floor, becomes stone bone cold at night. That's crazy. That's absolutely bizarre to me.
The Marines ate well that night. The same trick was tried again for Iraqi freedom. 43 Kuwaiti field chickens were acquired for the role. The plan was to place them in crates on the roof of vehicles during the invasion of Iraq. Should the Iraqis unleash chemical weapons, the chickens would drop dead, warning the Americans to turn around and avoid the area. Again, this worked in theory, but things fell apart before the invasion even started. 41 of the 43 died shortly after they arrived at their posting.
Why?
Apparently, they pecked and scratched at the sand, which clogged their nostrils and giblets. And according to one soldier involved, quote, "It didn't help that nobody here really knows anything about chickens."
just poor man. These poor chickens got sacrificed because of the Marines. They were curious. The Marines got curious and chickens died.
Quote. For their service and dedication to their country, Lance Corporal Pecker, Captain Popeye, and PFC King. Their remains were buried with full military honors beside what the Marines jokingly called the Tomb of the Unknown Chicken.
Chat. A chicken is more decorated in warfare than me. The Marines, they're a different breed. I love them. They're a different breed. I love them. They don't make a lot of sense, but I love them. And then that's that. That's that video. Simple history. Okay, well, KFC. Okay, look, KFC is an indicator of a country at peace. Chickens are great. They're not great for detecting fumes and poison. What did we learn from this? The Marines just do whatever they want. I think that's the sum of it, really. It's just KFC is great and the Marines just do whatever. I think that's the perfect summary of this video, because, like, what the hell? If you want to check out the video yourself, the original link to the video is in the description down below. If you want to see more, drop a like, drop a sub, comment down below what you'd like me to check out in the future going forward, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video that I do. All the best, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Chat, let's move on to the next one. Ta-da!